Hi. Hi. Yes. You just need attention. Yeah. Need some love? Need some love from your mom? When I think about an intentional life and a slow life, one of the main things that comes to mind for me is knowing my values and which values I'm living from versus which values I want to live from. And one of the things that I've always been really passionate about and valued are the lives that God has entrusted me with. And I feel so strongly in my heart that my rescue animals deserve the best of me. And I think it's such a beautiful thing to honor the lives that you have been blessed with in your guardianship. And I know this might sound a little silly, but I am making dinner for my dogs. Now, this didn't start out of nowhere. This is something I have been doing for probably about a year now, and I definitely don't do it for every meal. However, both of our dogs are getting elderly. Claire, who is my Border Collie rescue, she is 12 years old and has arthritis pretty badly in her hips. And you can tell she definitely struggles to move how she used to move when she was younger. She has difficulty jumping onto the couch. She has difficulty going up the stairs. And she still has a really great life. We're nowhere near the point of making the determination to euthanize. She's not in that much pain yet. And Scratchy is a 9 to 10-year-old Beagle mix who is another one of our rescues. And he definitely has some eyesight issues that are starting to happen. And no doubt eventually he will have some joint issues as well, because he loves to jump up and down on the couch and the bed and sleep with us. And he's just a tiny, short little dog. So, you know, that does some damage on their hip joints. And we've tried to buy the little ramps and stairs that go onto the bed, so that way our dogs will stop jumping in their old age and instead will use the ramp. They both refuse. They refuse to even try it. So that's where we're at. And Claire, my beautiful girl, she has 3 daily medications that she takes. She has one for inflammation, one for pain, and then she has a hip and joint supplement which help add glucosamine and other great things to really help the mobility issues in her hips. So kind of some preventative and treatment stuff going on there. And in order to give her medicine, I have to mix it in with some wet food. And canned dog food, while it's a really great option if you're short on time, it's definitely not made with the best stuff usually. It's meant to make a profit for the companies who create it. And you're gonna find a lot of filler items, stuff like that, instead of a very intentionally created formula. Not to mention wet dog food. The cost of that adds up really quick if you're feeding 2 to 3 cans a day, which is what it takes, because I would feel like a horrible mom if I only fed the delicious food to Claire and made our other dog eat the dry dog food just because he doesn't have medicine to take with it. So I feed them both the same delicious food. So I cook for both of them, and that's what I'm doing right now. And I know this sounds really extravagant to a lot of people, but here's the thing. These animals were entrusted to my care, and I want to make sure that they get the best life possible that God had imagined for them when He trusted me with their care. And they've had really beautiful lives so far, and they have extra needs now that they're getting older. And I want to make sure that just like if I had a child who had special needs, or if any other loved person in my life had special needs, that I would be considerate of that and show my love through that consideration.
So one of the ways that I can slow down in life is by cooking for my dogs. And I don't do it all the time because I'm pretty busy with graduate school. But when I do get the chance, I love to meal prep for them and make a big batch of food, usually in the crock pot, that I can mix in with their dry food and the medicine and the supplements, just to make sure that they are really living the best life that they can in their older age, and that they're getting the appropriate care that they should in their older years. So here I am peeling some sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are a great healthy fat. And hi. Hi, Mr. Kitty. Hi, Mr. Kitty. Oh, you're trying to play now. So I am peeling some sweet potatoes right now. And I am also going to be putting some boneless, skinless chicken breasts into the Instapot, along with sweet potatoes that are finely diced up. I'm also going to add a tiny bit of cinnamon and cayenne, both of which are great anti-inflammatories, which can really help with inflamed joints. The first time I ever cooked for an animal was back when my beloved Oreo, who has since passed, he was diagnosed with kidney disease. And if you know about kidney disease in animals, it gives them a very low appetite. They get very nauseous. And their body essentially starts to eat away at its own muscle. And it's a very, very sad terminal illness with animals. And just a normal illness for a lot of elderly cats. And our cat was 14 years old, and I had had him since he was itty bitty baby. And when I found out that he was dying and sick, I did everything I could to improve the quality of his life. And that included fluids, supplements, medication, and home-cooked meals that were high quality, high in protein, and had a lot of ingredients that were more carefully constructed, grown, handled, cooked, and obviously more delicious than what they're getting in a wet or dry formula that you purchase from the store. And he lived for 8 months after that diagnosis, and the vet thought he was going to die that weekend. They diagnosed him. That's how bad he was, how poor condition he was. And it was a really difficult time for me. But one of the things that gave me a lot of peace throughout that process was knowing that I did everything I possibly could to make Oreo's end of life the best quality it absolutely could have been. And when I would spend those hours cooking for him each Sunday, I would meal prep for the week. I knew that all of my love and caregiving and devotion, all of my heart was being poured into taking care of him. And one of the ways I was doing that was through cooking for him, and by making these meals that were thoughtfully designed to help with his kidney issues and to help with his eating and his nausea, and to really improve the quality of his life, whatever bit he had left. And that is one of the things that still sticks with me years after Oreo's been gone, is that I have no regrets. I am at peace with the fact that I did everything I possibly could have, and he had such a good end of life. He was so cared for and so loved, and it showed. And I did everything in my power to make sure that he was so important. Cooking food for Oreo during the end of his life was one of the few things that brought me a lot of comfort, and it was really difficult. It took a lot of time, and I was really busy finishing up my undergraduate degree, applying for graduate school. I had a lot going on, and those hours that I spent cooking for him and meal prepping for him are such a comfort to me then and now, because I know I did everything I absolutely could to give him the best end of life he possibly could have had. And I poured so much love and care into caregiving for him during that last 8 months to year of his life. And so I have no regrets. And I know that he was as comfortable as he could have been, and I did absolutely everything I could have done. And he felt so loved. His entire demeanor really changed during those months, and he became a much more cuddly cat, a much more loving cat than he had ever been in the 13 years previous. And I'm sure that a lot of that has to do with the loyalty that you can buy from animals when you feed them delicious food regularly. But whatever it was, regardless, it was one of the things that brought me a lot of peace and comfort during the end of his life. And now afterwards, I have no regrets about my caregiving for him. And I can look back at that time and feel really proud of myself that I made such an extraordinary effort to make the end of his life as good as it possibly could have been, despite it being a very difficult time for me and a very hectic time in my life. And those moments of slowing down and showing my love and care through cooking were wonderful, and something that I think will forever be important to me and something that I cherish. And so now that both of our dogs are getting older and they're starting to show some health issues, as older animals do, I have been revisiting this lately, this cooking for the animals, and making sure that their meals are thought out and show love and care, and making sure that Claire is getting the supplements and medication she needs for her hips and her joints and her pain, and making sure that our other rescue dog is getting some great quality nutrients in to help with his waning eyesight, and just showing that love for them. They are definitely receptive when they get to eat crock pot meals. They feel the love for sure. So I've been revisiting this lately, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a few hours to meal prep for them. Cutting sweet potatoes has got to be my least favorite task of all time. They're just so tough. You really got to use elbow grease to get in there and cut them up. So it takes a lot of intention and care, and it also takes, I'm not gonna lie, it takes a financial commitment to go out and meal prep for your animals each week. And again, my dogs aren't nearly as severe as my cat was when my cat had that terminal illness. So I'm not cooking every meal for them, but it is something that I've been revisiting lately, and something that I hope to do more of, because it is a way of slowing down and focusing on the task at hand in front of me, thinking more about food and where our food comes from and how food can be used to show love and care to those that we love and care for, and how it can be very healing, and the nutrients can really help aid some of those issues. So here I am cooking for my dogs on a beautiful Thursday. I have had a really busy week. My Mondays through Wednesdays are pretty much nonstop graduate school and internship right now. So this is the first chance I've really gotten to slow down and breathe this week for an extended period of time. And I had about a 2-hour break between client sessions today. And my next client session starts in about 35 minutes. So I'm hoping that I have enough time to start meal prepping this, get it in the crock pot, and then I can go do that hour-long session. And then I can get the meal out of the Instapot. I like to put about 1/3 of the meal prepped meal into the fridge, and I'll feed that to the dogs throughout the next few days. And then the rest I put in the freezer to save for weeks when I do not have the time to cook for them. And I find that slowing down and creating these meals, while it might seem extravagant to other people, it's just an expression of my love and my care for the wonderful lives that I have been given under my guardianship, and I'm so thankful for them. I'm so thankful for my rescue animals. Each and every one of them has made my life so joyful and really added something to my life. And I want to make sure that I don't take advantage of that, that I really show my love and care for them, especially as they get older and they do develop more special needs. So I'm done with the sweet potatoes. I'm going to move on to carrots now. Carrots, as we probably all know, are great for eyesight and have nutrients in them. A great little addition to a crock pot meal for the dogs. I've also got a little container here going where I am peeling the carrots and sweet potatoes into, because I am starting a compost pile, which is another element of intentional living and slow living. This revisiting this way of life of going in the garden and having soil, working seed, and cultivating wonderful food. So I'm hoping that one day it all connects in that cycle. That would be really beautiful. For now, we have store-bought food. I'm starting a compost pile, and I am cooking for my dogs. So that's what slow and intentional living looks like for me today. Happy to do this for them, and happy that they love it. Happy that it means they're getting really nutritious meals, and happy for the quality of life it provides for them. So that's where my thoughts are today, and I wanted to share that. I know everybody's version of intentional living looks a little bit different, and everybody's values are a little bit different. This is one of the ways that I can slow down and be intentional, by taking an hour to carefully craft a crock pot meal for my aging rescue pets. And it's a task that brings me joy, and it's a task that brings them joy, and all around it is a really beautiful thing, and I'm so glad to be doing it.